willing to do this, then please, don't buy a gun. It's not worth the risk.
Fifth, know the laws of your community. Every state has different laws regarding the use of firearms in home protection and self-defense. It's safe to say that if you feel your life is being threatened, you may use your firearm in self-defense. But if a burglar's running out of your house with your TV set in his hand and you shoot him in the back, you're going to be in trouble. It's better to let him go and call the police. A good reference to this situation is the video Deadly Force, Firearms, the Law, and You. Here are a few interesting statistics taken from an FBI report on firearms and self-defense. 80% of all civilian self-defense gunfights occur in the home, and 70% occur in the dark. 85% of the time, only one shot is fired, and the bad guy gets away on his own. 45% of the time, the one shot actually hits the intruder, and the rest are misses. Only 15% of these shootings result in the death of the intruder. In the majority of cases, when the intruder is shot, what usually happens is that he'll check into a local hospital for treatment. At that time, most of the suspects are picked up by police for two reasons. The homeowner called the police and reported the intruder and the gunfire, and two, hospitals, clinics, emergency rooms, and doctors are required by law to report gunfire injuries to police. So this double-check system usually catches a suspect, and that's why you as a homeowner should report a shooting incident of this nature. Now, here are some suggestions on how to handle a self-defense emergency situation once you're alerted to an intruder in your home. If you are able, call 911. Either you or someone else should call law enforcement. Even if you just dial 911 and leave the phone off the hook, they are trained to listen for sounds of distress. Next, secure your firearm and other family members. Listen for sounds of forced entry and movement. It is not a good idea to go searching through the house unless other members of your family are in danger. Your best tactic would be to inform the intruder that you have a gun and that you have called police. Yell it loud and with force.
I have a gun! I've called the police! Get out of my house!
If you must walk around the house, go slowly and keep the firearm close to your body and use a two-handed grip. Keep the gun pointed out and away from your body parts. With both hands on the gun, you are less likely to shoot yourself and you'll have more control of the firearm. If you do confront an intruder, keep your distance. Try and place something between you and the intruder, such as a couch, countertop, chair, or table. Order them to leave and repeat.
I have a gun. I've called the police. Get out of my house. Get out! They're here.
If the intruder advances towards you and you feel your life is in danger, you may have to shoot to protect your life. Walking through your home with a loaded gun is one of the most dangerous things you could ever do. We recommend, of course, staying inside the room, dialing 911 and securing your firearm. But if you must walk through the house, here's a couple tips that may help you out. One, make sure that it is in fact an intruder, not a family member or a friend of a family member or one of your children or a relative or someone that you really wouldn't want to shoot, a neighbor coming over and knocking on your door. Be absolutely positive that it is an intruder. Which brings us to the next point. When you do walk through the home, keep your finger out of the trigger guard area and away from the trigger. You know, it's dark, and if you're walking through the home and you actually stub your toe on a wall, or if you trip on a toy and your finger is on the trigger, there's a good chance you could jerk it off accidentally, and a tragedy could happen. Next, keep the gun close into your body. There's no need to walk around the house with the gun out like this. The idea is, if the gun's close to your body, you have more control of it. If the gun's out here, there's a good chance an intruder can knock it away, they can steal it from you. By keeping it close to your body, you have a lot more control, you have a lot more strength on the gun. Plus, you can shoot from this position very accurately. You can actually, in a gunfight situation, because most home gunfights are between 7 and 10 feet, shoot from this position very accurately. Even if you have to, bring the gun up very rapidly in this position. Now, next time you're out at the range, practice shooting from here, both with 2 hands and 1 hand, and you'll be surprised how accurate you can be in a self-defense situation, 7 to 10 feet. And finally, when approaching a corner, try not to fall into the Hollywood trap of getting up real close and peeking around. What could happen is the gun could be knocked away, it could be taken away, or you could get a punch in the face. Here's how to approach a corner. Use distance. Get to the far opposite wall, and as you come up, sneak around and look. The idea, once again, is to keep your distance from a potential intruder. Here, it will give you time to respond in case someone's over there. And once again, distance is your friend in this type of encounter. It gives you time to respond to the bad guys and not to respond if it's someone you really don't want to shoot. Thing you can do whenever you're handed a firearm or you pick a firearm up off the table is to check to see that it is unloaded. Before me, I've got about 19 different handguns that we're going to do just that. We'll go over each one of them, we'll talk about the make and manufacture of each gun, and then of course we'll show you how to unload them. But before we get started, I can't emphasize enough the importance of having a safe storage box in which to keep your guns at home, even away from children and unauthorized access. This is a box made by Palmer Metal Products. It holds 2 different handguns, and you can have access to this box within seconds, as demonstrated here. In this box, I've got 2 different firearms. This is a Taurus PT-99 9mm pistol. It is a double action pistol, and the way you want to go ahead and work with this, of course, and with any gun, is to keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, keep your finger out and away from the trigger area while you first pick it up. The next step is to drop the magazine. To do that, I'll show you here. There's a magazine and release button located on the left side of the frame. You can push the button down, and the magazine becomes disengaged and actually will fall out. And as it falls out, you'll see that there are rounds in this magazine. So, now again, I don't know if it's loaded or not. I've got to go ahead and, once again, maintain a safe direction, finger out of the trigger. I've got to pull the slide back, and I'm going to pull it back, and I'm going to look inside there, and I'm going to see there are no rounds. Now, for television purposes, I'm going to go ahead and pull back and let you see. This is what you need to see. You need to see an empty chamber, empty barrel. And I'll let this slide back down. I'll point the gun in a safe direction. I'm going to pull the hammer. And now I know I have a safe, unloaded pistol that I can store or use for later purposes. Next gun I have here in the box is a Ruger Security 6 revolver. This is a .357 6-shot revolver. Double action revolver, as you can see, because of the placement of the trigger. Once again, keeping the gun pointed in a safe direction, finger out and away from the trigger. I'm going to turn the gun over and show you that on the left side of the frame there is a cylinder release latch. I will push this latch down, depress it straight down. With my other hand, I'm going to reach through and push the